I chose to name my exhibit Experimentations because I have been experimenting with various styles of art. I also have various science degrees and love to experiment with things in general. This is my flyer that I created to advertise my exhibit. I imagine this would be posted online by individuals who share it with their friends on social media, or even as an image on an official event listing online. To create this, I actually cut and paste little parts of each of my art pieces that I intend to display. I wanted to give a preview, but not too much of a preview. So I altered the coloring and used some features on my Procreate app to distort it just enough so that most of it is not obvious without seeing it next to the reference pictures. I chose to leave the worm, ghost kitty, spider, and wooden frame mostly unobscured. I thought it would be nice to include a couple clear previews, but without context. I referenced one of my favorite Albert Einstein quotes here. The quote goes, "I have no special talent. I am only passionately curious." I listed our due date as the event date to make it seem more like a real flyer. At the bottom it says online only. I imagine I'll either show images online or show a video of the exhibit. I want to be able to control the experience and the mood. I have ideas about lighting and music that I think would work nicely with my exhibit. I don't want to show the full pieces yet, but I did think it would be nice to share some parts of my favorite pieces. This is a portrait I drew of my husband in a Tim Burton-inspired style. In case you are unfamiliar, Tim Burton is the one who produced movies such as The Nightmare Before Christmas, The Corpse Bride, and Edward Scissorhands. His characters typically have a gloomy, sickly, almost dead Gothic appearance. They tend to have very long, narrow necks and disproportionately large heads. Their facial features are exaggerated and out of proportion with each other. There are a lot of dead characters, too, such as ghosts or living corpses. I would say they visually represent the same kind of macabre mood that Edgar Allan Poe wrote about in his famous works. I also draw a lot of influence from Edgar Allan Poe, and in fact, my cat, Porter Allan Poe, was named after him. I will come back to Porter in a moment. I have 3 portraits I drew in this style, which will all be included in my exhibit. The first one I did was of myself, then one of my friend, then this one. I like each one more than the one before because I developed my own spin on the styles with each new portrait. The reason why I chose to share this part specifically is because it has a deep meaning to us. The 2 ghost kitties are our cats who died from cancer in the year before I drew this. The one with the green collar is Ivan. The one with the pink collar is Porter. Those were their real-life colors as well. The bird on my husband's shoulder is our canary, Zetoon. At the time when I drew this, she was still alive. However, she died about a year later. One way museum exhibits can be culturally significant is by giving people a way to remember, honor, grieve, and memorialize lost loved ones. In our house, we have displayed many drawings of our animals who have died. We miss them, and it is an important part of our grieving process to include them in our family home, even if they are no longer physically with us. The mission of my museum is to inspire others to experiment with art or whatever creative endeavors bring them joy. I know there is a common stereotype that STEM people, that is, people in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, are not creative. There is a misconception that one can either be creative or scientific. I completely disagree. The best scientists, after all, are also creative. One must be creative to think outside the box and be receptive to new ideas. If we think back in history, most of our famous inventors were also known artists. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, invented many things, but he was also extraordinarily talented in many genres of art. I don't think people should put themselves into boxes that exclude them from trying out new things. You may not be very good at it, or you may be naturally talented. You will not know until you try. And even if you are not that great at it, it truly does not matter. If you want to get better, you can practice, but ultimately, the experience is often more important than the perceived value of the final product. If you enjoy creating things, that is all that matters. You do not have to be good at things to enjoy doing them. Let's get to experimenting.